What's going on, everybody? My name is Paul Newell, and this is my second entry of the Hip Chronicles. If you're wondering, who the heck is Paul Newell? Well, I am a man that has recently had a bilateral hip replacement surgery. What the heck does that mean? Well, I got two of my hips replaced. So that ball and socket that goes right into the pelvis, got that replaced, and then I got this rod that goes down into my thigh bone, my femur. Got that put in my body too. Why? Because I was in a tremendous amount of pain and I didn't acknowledge it until I had to get the surgery. Now, I did a video of my first entry. That talked a lot about the stuff that happened that I was experiencing before the surgery. This one is, I'm at my 3-week mark. I'm in outpatient PT, so I'm coming back to check in. Surgery, ding ding, went great. I'm alive. Yes, because I had worries and concerns. I did. I really did. Now, here's the kicker. Now that I've had this surgery, I have experienced a lot of newness. Now, as part of my regimen, let me explain something. First of all, I'm free of feeling any pain in my hips. What I am feeling is discomfort in the muscles along the front of my body, specifically my hip and on my thigh. Reason being is because the approach that they took to replace my hips was the anterior approach, or the front of the body approach. So they went in, they didn't have to cut any muscle. They just went in and moved muscle to the side and did what they had to do. Now, the thing that's really interesting is because, like, for a lot of reasons that my hip decayed, or whether it's congenital or, like, you know, the punishment I was giving my body, it's been interesting to recognize the new space and the old space that's coming up. Now, what I mean specifically about this, the new space, for example, was me standing up for the first time on brand new hips and free of hip pain. Now, there was pain from the surgery, I'll tell you that. The other thing, though, is that it was like a new experience. Like, I was really getting connected to my body. And it was a little emotional, to be frank with you. It was, well, I don't have to be frank. I could be transparent with you. All right? It was interesting, because standing up, there was hesitation, because I was expecting my hips to hurt. And when I stood up and felt different type of discomfort over pain rather than pain, that was a new experience for me. Now, what was really interesting is and I think it's something that's helping my recovery, is like I've been listening to healing frequencies, like 432 hertz, 856 hertz. Really more the 432 hertz, because those are lower energy center vibrations and frequencies. So something to help my sacral energy center, my root energy center. For those that are yogis, or people that are familiar with yoga or the meridian and energy and chakra systems, these are the two lower centers. The roots energy center is more at the base of the spine. It's really around like protection, provision, security. And then the sacral chakra is around the sex organs, or in between your sex organs and your navel, and is the space for sensuality and creativity. Both of those spaces energetically, I've struggled with. I've struggled with. And it's very interesting, because this whole process is like I'm noticing the body, mind, and spirit that's shifted and shifting. So why I put these videos out here is, first of all, I put this out here for other people that may experience this, or for other people that are experiencing pain and decide to handle it and take care of it. When we do that, or I'm just going to speak for myself, when I did that, or as I'm doing this, I'm noticing, as I mentioned, there's newness. Like, I'm feeling muscles I had yet to feel, because my body was shut down. I'm also recognizing the power of humility. And it's a humbling experience being in a space where, I mean, I'm coming from being a trainer, a yoga instructor, animal flow instructor. I do my best to stay active. I stay in as good shape as I can. So now going to the space where I have to relearn how my body even operates is humbling. It's humbling. Like, there's a lot of times I want to go, and my body's like, no. because my body has yet to adjust. And this is a life experience or a life lesson for me, is slow down. So in this episode, it's the power of humility and the power of slowing down. Like I call myself a turtle, okay? Slow and steady is the way to rock. Slow and steady. Now here's the kicker. Being in this space, or when you address something, or you address the pain that you may have, I'm going to speak for myself, but as I've addressed this, I also recognize the new spaces in my life where I get to do something different, experience something different, be something different. And again, this is a humbling experience, because when we shift things, or I'm going to speak for myself, as I shift things in my body, I'm noticing I'm looking for the pain, because it's been a comfort for me. Okay, it's been my friend. Even though I was in pain, like, it helped me because it helped me stay in my story. Now, people may be wondering, what the hell does this have to do with recovering from a surgery? Well, because what happens in our energy and in our spirit gets manifested through the body. And I put this Hip Chronicle out here because, listen, peoples, our body's precious and our body communicates with us. And this is a part of the humility that I'm really learning right now, because my body's the major communicator, and I get to sit back and listen and then respond and collaborate with. It's like, you know, as I'm recovering, I'm reading more. Actually, I would say I'm reading and getting in my Netflix and some series in. So I'm getting a balance, okay? But as I'm reading this book, Endure, and it talks about pain threshold and then managing that in the communication of the body, what the body's able to give. And one of the things, like, I hear a lot, like, as people hear more about my situation, is like, you know, you're one tough cookie to be walking around on hips like you had. And, you know, my surgeon said that, and, like, there was a part of me that, like, took pride in it, and a part of me that was really sad about that, because my body had been communicating with me this whole time, and I chose not to listen. I chose to tough it out. Now, you know, listen, maybe this is my path to be able to come to this point where I had to get to and re-solidify or reform and rewire my base. And I accept that. I'm here. I embrace it. And my lesson and the message is, out of my story, is that we can be free of waiting till we absolutely have to get something done for ourselves and for our body. I think the humility part is in learning that our body is a collaborator with us rather than a tool for us. And when we can start to adjust and think of our bodies in that way, I think that's when we begin to form and create something new. We begin to live to our fullest potential. Because, like, thinking about this and, like, how I'm rewiring my body now and how I'm rebuilding myself, it's about rebuilding the physical, and it's also about rebuilding the mental, because even today in physical therapy, it was interesting because, like, I had this inclination, I was on this thing to really just get motion, and I had this thought to stop because I'm going to be sore tomorrow. I had to stop because I'm going to be sore, because that's what I was doing before the surgery. Like, if I was doing any kind of cardio, I was like, oh man, okay, I got to do it such and such. I only got to do a certain amount of minutes, and otherwise I'm going to be red tomorrow. And that was in my head today, knowing I had new hips, consciously and unconsciously. I'm like, I gotta stop. So that's a mindset thing, okay? And I'm gonna encounter that probably for over the next year, as my body gets used to having this equipment, and also as my body gets used to us collaborating and communicating with each other. Now, part of this, while I'm speaking this and talking about this, is something before I went to my surgery, is learning to balance my masculine and feminine energies. Yes, my masculine and feminine energies, because everybody's got both of them. And the masculine part is like, yo, I got to get something done, and the feminine part is the resources, right, and the nurturing and the communicator. So if the masculine is like, we're gonna get this done, and all of a sudden the feminine is like, well, we don't have the resources, and the masculine is like, shut the hell up, shut up. All of a sudden it's gonna keep going, and then all of a sudden the feminine is gonna go, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be like, lock, nope, we're not going anywhere, man. Not going anywhere. So now when this happens, then there gets to be a recollaboration, right? So right now, as I was working a balance, now I'm in this space where when the masculine is like, hey, we got to get this done, the feminine is like, well, okay, we can get it done. This is what we got. Now it's more like, okay, so what do we do now? What's the best way forward? How can we work together? Okay, rather than like, shut the hell up, we're going. Or it's just like, no, I'm going to stay here. We're not doing anything. Now it's the collaboration to what is a communication within. Why is this important? Well, it's for your freaking health, damn it. That's why it's important. Shoot, I wouldn't be on this video and wasting your time if this wasn't important. It's about us communicating with ourselves and having humility and slowing the F down. Slow down, man. We move too fast. You gotta make the good times last, though. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into that song. But I am feeling groovy because I'm happy I got my surgery. I'm happy I'm communicating with you all that it's time for us to take a pause. Really listen. And then people be like, but I do yoga. I'm a yoga instructor, so I know cats are doing yoga for exercise. I know cats are doing yoga so they can look cool on the gram. Okay? And a lot of the times, the people that are doing that stuff, and Pilates and all that stuff, are creating havoc in their bodies because they're constantly pushing through. Rather than seeing what the heck is happening with my structure. What can I do to work with my body? Give my body what it needs. Take a pause, take a break. Rather than constantly moving through. There's ways to get things done with all of ourselves. So listen, I'm going to leave this right here because listen, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up now. Let's shoot. I got new hips, man. Like, I had some bone-on-bone stuff, and now I got some components. Like, my x-ray looks like a freaking cyborg. It's freaking cool, though. It's in my body, and this is what I'm working with. So, again, this is Paul Newell. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And really, my ask of you is like, hey, listen, you like this, share this. Yeah, that's the usual ask. My real ask here is, even if it's for today, pause and listen to what your body's communicating with you. Okay? Listen. Really sit and listen. Follow your instincts rather than trying to push through or muscle through and all these things. Listen, even if it's just for today, and see, what is my body telling me that I have yet to hear? That I have yet to act on? Because I'm telling you, it's just like anything else. The body is nature. Nature, when we fail to recognize and understand it and respect the power of nature, nature will smack the shit out of you. It's like this is my hips are like, oh, you don't want to listen? Can't do jump now, can you? Now I got a replacement. And I have another chance. I'm reborn. I get to learn again. So take that as you want to. This is Paul. Thanks for tuning in. More Hip Chronicles coming up, episode 3. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about in that one. I don't know, because this thing is like a day-to-day, moment-to-moment thing. So thank you for tuning in. Be well. Thanks for tuning in on this journey. See you next time.